Hey guys, Nathan here, and today we're going to talk about 10 testosterone myths. So, long time no see. I think I haven't posted in 2 or 3 weeks, and in that time a lot has gone on. I hope that you're staying safe in this time because it's very stressful and just trying to get through it as we all are. Again, sorry for not posting for a little while, but I should be back onto it now. We've been also moved in to a house, so I have my own room and stuff actually, not like a little tiny studio that I used to have. But enough of that, we'll get on to the actual video. So I just have my laptop just over here, so just so you know, can I speak? No. So that's what I am going to be looking over at. The first one I have, testosterone makes you infertile / it means you can't get pregnant. So this is definitely not true. You can still get pregnant on testosterone if you haven't had a hysterectomy yet. Not that you have to have one, but sometimes you have complications and you need to have one, but usually people don't have to. So even if you have no more of that thing that must not be named, that means it's less likely to happen, but it's still a possibility. So just keep that in mind and don't just completely forget about contraception altogether, because also STDs are a thing, so probably best to protect yourself. The next one I have is you'll get muscles when you're on testosterone. So this is kind of true, but also kind of not. It may be easier to develop muscle mass being on testosterone versus pre-T because testosterone is a muscle building hormone, but it doesn't do all of the work for you. You still have to exercise and work out in order to get that muscle. You can get some just by doing absolutely nothing, but usually you have to put in just work. You gotta try and actually get that muscle if you want that. Sometimes you hear a cis guy being like, oh, I guess it's like you're taking steroids, but it's no easier to gain muscle as a trans man as it is to a cis man. It's probably much easier for them, to be honest. So that is also false. So taking testosterone is dangerous. No, it is not. It's no more dangerous than a cis guy and their testosterone levels. Anybody in the male range has an increased blood count, well, increased red blood count? I don't know, something like that. It makes your blood thicker, so that can be a problem and lead to health problems if it gets too high. But if you get constant regular blood tests and your levels are checked often by your doctor, endo, whatever, it'll be fine, like completely. My hair will fall out on testosterone or I'll go bald. This really depends from person to person because it's not actually the testosterone that does the balding factor, it's mostly genetics that plays into that. So I feel like basically everybody, they get some receding, and then sometimes people get their hair thinning or it like just continues to go bald. It really depends on your family. So just check your male figures in your family and see what kind of hair they have, or at your age, or whatever really. So if they're bald, you probably will go bald, unfortunately. So that's not great, but yeah, it's something that you'll have to deal with. It's not a testosterone thing, it's a genetic thing. So the next one is, I will get more aggressive on testosterone / like testosterone makes you angry and whatever, all of that. This is a big misconception about testosterone. Basically, what it comes from is when you start taking hormones, your levels start changing quickly, which makes hormonal changes and like all your levels are like out of whack and you gotta adjust, and which is basically the same thing as when you're going through puberty and your levels are going kind of everywhere and you're a bit hormonal and kinda just like that. So moodiness and being a bit more irritated or agitated is something that can happen. It may be less likely because you've already gone through a puberty and you're kind of like looking out for it and you know that that's going to happen. But yeah, it's not just straight up aggression. It's not from testosterone, it passes. It's not something that's constant, or at least in my experience and what I've seen, it's not constant. It's just sometimes people around their shots, it even goes up and down. They'll get more irritated or a bit sadder when they're around their shots. So that's a big misconception that I see in the trans community. My hips will get smaller / my shoulders will get broader. So this is talking about bones more so. So there is an extent that your body can masculinize and change. You may not get that Dorito that you want because your bones will not change from testosterone. It is the fat that changes and the muscle. So what you can do is lose weight, and that kind of makes it go away from your hips, or you can build up muscle in your shoulders and that will make them appear broader. Some people that haven't finished growing can get broader shoulders, or it just kind of gets like thicker, but there's not really much you can do beyond those two things. Testosterone can change your height, so this is also pretty wrong, or it's more people wonder if it changes your height. People don't say that it changes your height. If you start T when you are a teenager, that can possibly change, but usually it's not the case because all of your growth plates have stopped moving and growing, so you can't grow anymore. But if you're still growing, it might help, but it's not very likely and probably something not to look forward to. I won't be able to cry on testosterone. I've heard this a fair few times, so it really doesn't strip you of all of your emotions and emotional depth or anything like that. But I've heard some people have that happen to them where they can't cry anymore, but usually that doesn't happen. I'm not that much of a crier or very emotional in that sense, so I don't really know if that's happened to me or not, because it's not really something that I had before. But it could happen, I guess, but I'm not sure in my own personal experience, and it doesn't seem to happen too often. I'm not sure why it would happen either. Anyway, but that's not really something to worry about. If you're emotional before T, you'd probably still be emotional after. It's not going to change it, is basically what I'm trying to say. The more / faster I take testosterone, the faster and better the changes will be. So this is very wrong and very dangerous. If you take too much T or you take it too quickly, again, your red blood count, whatever the thing is, when your blood thickens and shit, it will go up, and that can make many problems, heart problems, all of that, strokes, whatever. I've heard even in some cases that it can convert back to estrogen, which is something you don't want to happen. So the best thing that you can do is do what your doctor advises and get your levels checked regularly. By having more testosterone or having it more frequently, it's not going to do anything for you. It's probably going to make things worse. And the last one that I hear a lot of controversy about is, or not necessarily controversy, but a lot of people talk about it and kind of go backwards and forwards and argue about it, is injections are the best way to take testosterone. So the way that you take testosterone doesn't actually affect your changes or speed at all, really. For some people, one way might be better than the other, but that really depends on the person and they have to try them to be able to tell. So injections, they don't make it more significant, the changes that you have, or any faster speed. I was on gel for a couple of months and that was actually fine. Like, I don't understand why people are very against using gel. I don't know. But I did that for a while and it was fine. And some people may want to use that because they don't like injections, which I really don't like injections, but I have my shot every 12 weeks. So it's more of a slow release kind of thing, I think. But I've seen in America and places like that, that it's more like every week or fortnightly they get shots, but having gel is fine. I think there are other methods, but gel and injections are what I'm used to and know about, and there's not really that much difference, it's just whatever you prefer. So that's all I have for you today. If you have any suggestions on videos for me to make, drop them below. I hope that you're doing well with this whole situation, because it's kind of wacky and odd, and not very good. But I should be onto a more regular schedule, hopefully. I'm not really doing too much being locked up in here other than uni stuff online, because that's fun, especially for art. If you enjoyed the video and learnt something, leave a like, and subscribe for more content kind of like this, and whatever else I come up with, to be honest. And with that, I'll see you later.